Thank you, Mr Speaker. To the Minister of Transport, does he stand by his statement that, and I quote, "I think the issue about the sleepers is being overbeaten up"?
The Honourable Jerry Brownlee.
Yes, Mr Speaker. Mr Speaker, I should call first. Yes, safety is Kiwi Rail's key priority, and Kiwi Rail advised me that it would not be running services if safety had been compromised by damaged rail, bridges, tunnels, tracks or sleepers. Kiwi Rail has a number of measures in place to manage rail network assets. At the core of this management practice is safety.
Brendan Horan.
Have Kiwi Rail staff been told to replace rotting sleepers with, and I quote, visually sound sleepers, given that a report on inspection standards presented by National Structure Maintenance Engineer Graham Borman stated the internal condition of hardwood timber is required to be ascertained by inspection boring?
The Honourable Jerry Brownlee.
Mr Speaker, there are 6 million wooden railway sleepers across the New Zealand railway network. 100,000 of those sleepers have been imported from a source that does not meet the Australian hardwood standard. 7,000 have been found to have some degree of decay, and there is a replacement program. The staff are required to confirm by presumably looking at a number on those sleepers that they are meeting the Australian standard. There is a court case currently going on with the supplier of the 100,000 sleepers that are potentially difficult, and there is only 7,000 of those that have been used across a total of 6 million. Yes, they are being replaced.
Brendan Horan.
Point of order, Mr Speaker.
Point of order, Brendan
I
Horan.
asked if...
Order, I apologise to the member.
If I might repeat the question...
The member will resume his seat for the moment. I apologise to the member, but that kind of interjection when a point of order is being heard is not on, I say, on this occasion, the National Party backbench. Brendan Horan, point of order.
Thank you.
I beg
Sir, the question said that given the ascertaining of the internal condition of hardwood was best done by boring into the wood, would he not then instruct Kiwi Rail to use this method when inspecting sleepers instead of the, and I quote, visually sound test outlined in internal memos? Now, this is a question of safety.
Order, I'm on my feet. Now, the Minister replied by saying that it wasn't realistic to do drill tests on a million, was it? I can't remember. It was 6 million sleepers. And so he did answer the member's question that, in fact, that process was, it seemed from the Minister's answer, was not something a Minister supported. And that seems a reasonable answer to the question. Point of order, the Right Honourable Winston Peters.
Mr. Speaker,
a point of order is being called.
Mr. Speaker, the question was simply, have Kiwi Rail staff been told to replace rotting sleepers with, quotes, visually sound, unquote, sleepers? That's the question.
Order. Now, order. Members have got a right to raise issues. I invite the Right Honourable Gentleman to check the Hansard, because I am absolutely confident that was not the question. The member went on and inserted a whole lot more information about what was alleged to be in a report. Now, if members want questions answered, keep it succinct to that kind of question. But sadly, his colleague added a whole lot more to the question than that. Point of order, the Right Honourable Winston Peters.
Speaker, with respect, my colleague asked whether rotting sleepers were being replaced by visually sound sleepers, given that there was a report saying that they should be the sleepers, that is, test board before used. Now, that is simply adding information. It's not asking a second question, a supplementary question or an additional question. It simply asks that was there an order for rotting sleepers to be replaced with visually sound sleepers, given that there was a report saying there should be inspection board. Now, that's pretty clear. He did not add anything else to it, and that's why, and I don't need the Hansard, I've got the question here. It was targeted, sir, to make sure it passed by even your inspection.
Well, I apologise to the Right Honourable Gentleman, but I heard the member insert a whole lot more into his question. If I could have assisted so much more if the member had just asked a simple question, will replacement sleepers be required to be tested by whatever? That's a straight question, then I can make sure the Minister, if it's in the public interest, will answer that kind of question. But where a whole lot more stuff is put in, members run the risk of ministers being able to pick on some of that, dispute it, and that's the end of the matter. I'd dearly like to be able to help the member, but I can't turn the wheel back and say to the Minister, look, the member meant to ask this, and therefore I think the Minister should answer that. I can't do that. I've got to work with the question actually asked. Now, the member has a further supplementary. I urge him to just be... And if he asks the specific question, I'll make sure that he gets an answer. Brendan Horan, supplementary question.
Point of order.
Well, point of order, Brendan Horan.
Sir, the first question I asked was asking about the replacement of the rotting sleepers. It was in the point of order that I actually I gave the additional information, but the first question was quite succinct.
Look, as I understand it, the member has two further supplementary questions. Seems to me the information being sought's pretty... I understand what the member's trying to get, and he's got two questions to get it. And I urge the member to ask the supplementary questions, keep them succinct, and let's get the answer. Brendan Horan.
Thank you, sir. If the public safety is important to the Minister, why is KiwiRail facing a general structures inspection backlog in the South Island, with some sleeper and culvert inspections being many years overdue?
The Honourable Jerry Brownlee.
Mr Speaker, largely due to neglect by a previous government.
The Right Honourable Winston Peters.
Does the Minister believe that ascertaining the internal condition of hardwood used in transport structures is best done by boring into the wood? And if so, will he instruct KiwiRail to use this method? And this is a man that got fired from his office.
Order. I apologise. Order. Now, order. Look, I say to David Bennett, I'm on my feet. And the members will be silent. And the National Backbench know if they interject like that, it will lead to disorder, which is not going to be helpful to anyone. And so I just ask them, please be patient. The member was asking a perfectly fair question, and I want to hear it. The Right Honourable Winston Peters.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. Does the Minister believe that ascertaining the internal condition of hardwood used in transport structures is best done by boring into the wood? And if so, will he instruct KiwiRail to use this method when inspecting sleepers instead of the, quotes, visually sound, end quotes, test outlined in internal memos?
The Honourable Jerry Brownlee.
Mr Speaker, the first point I make is that there are many engineers who would tell you that boring a hole into a beam is likely to weaken its structure, so I don't think that's a particularly smart idea in every case. Secondly, I'd point out that every sleeper laid in New Zealand since the inception of New Zealand Railways has been placed as a result of visual inspection. The third point I'd make is that there are 6 million sleepers across the network. They are all supposed to meet the Australian hardwood standard. 100,000 don't. 7,000 of those are already placed and will be replaced because they don't meet that standard.
Point of order, the Right Honourable Winston Peters.
Mr Speaker, I seek to table a KiwiRail internal memo from Graham Borman dated 5th April 2012 stating that the boring test should be undertaken, unlike what the Minister just said.
Leavers sought to table that document. Is there any objection? There is no objection. Question number 5, Jamie Lee Ross.
Mr Speaker,